April Gallup, I heard her speak in Irvine, California about a year ago. She's speaking out. She was in the Pentagon when it was hit. She said there was no warning whatsoever, no evacuation. Why not? She wants to know. She was crippled, severely hurt in this strike on the Pentagon. Related information, the FBI seized videotapes from nearby hotels, businesses, minutes after the Pentagon hit. Why is that, and why won't they release all these videos so we can see just what happened and what hit the Pentagon that morning? Outside the United States, President Putin, in an interview on the 15th September, said, "I ordered my intelligence to warn President Bush in the strongest terms," this is before 9/11, "that 25 terrorists were getting ready to attack the U.S., including important government buildings like the Pentagon." He's saying that they can't claim ignorance that something was about to happen. From the UK, we read in Jane's Intelligence Digest, "It is rather strange the US media seems to be ignoring what may be the most explosive story since the 11 September attacks." This is the foreknowledge given to the United States. I'd like to say that in the United States, people are waking up as well. Here's the question that was posed in the Scripps Howard Ohio University poll, August of 2006. Federal officials either allowed the attacks on the World Trade Center and the Pentagon to happen or somehow participated in those events because they wanted the United States to go to war in the Middle East. Very or somewhat likely, 36%. I suspect if I ask this, in fact, why don't I just ask this crowd, how many of you think this is very or somewhat likely? Not necessarily 100%, but certainly more than 36%. New York Times similarly conducted a poll, fall of 2006, when it comes to what they do prior to September 11th about possible terrorist attacks against the U.S., do you think members of the Bush administration are telling the truth, are mostly telling the truth, but hiding something, or mostly lying? Hiding something and mostly lying, you see, is the bulk of the Next topic, we will follow the money, which is often a useful way of finding out who's involved in some crime. Quoting from the Bloomberg News, trading in so-called put options, which rise in value when stock prices fall, surged as much as 285 times the previous average volume in AMR, American Airlines, and UAL, United Airlines, in the days before September 11th. Those two stocks plummeted after the 9/11 attacks. They were the two involved in the hijackings several days before. The put options, this is where you make money if the stock goes down. So the put option sales went up dramatically, as I say, 285 times. Okay, I'm sure, well, let's just ask you, how many of you have heard of the pancake theory of collapse, where one floor hits another, and they looks like most of you. This was found and explained in the FEMA report, popularized in a video by Nova, How the Towers Fell. Popular Mechanics, in their article, March of 2005, promotes this pancake theory of collapse. Let's see what NIST says about it. NIST findings do not support the pancake theory of collapse, which is premised on a progressive failure of the floor systems in the WTC towers. This overturns the FEMA report, the NOVA program, and the Popular Mechanics article, the main point of all three. And I congratulate NIST for analyzing to this point and showing this commendable honesty. And indeed, if you look at the floors on the left there, there aren't any floors to be seen, that's the point. The towers after their destruction. The core columns are gone, the floors are gone. If you look at a pancaking collapse, which did occur due to earthquake, you see the stacked up floors. That's what you would expect from a pancake collapse. Clearly, that's not what we have with the towers. I hope no one still is adhering to that pancake theory. Next question, were the towers hollow tubes? This diagram is from the FEMA report. They look like hollow tubes. They didn't actually say that, though, in the FEMA report, but the visual looks that way. NIST, the core columns. Here's a photograph on the left. During construction, you see the core columns, 47 tied together core columns, were designed to support approximately 50% of the gravity loads. Skipping down to the second paragraph. The core of the building, which carried primarily gravity loads, was made up of a mixture of massive box columns made from 3-story long plates and heavy rolled white flange shapes. So again, we agree with them, and of course the data are very clear. These towers were not hollow. I still hear that argument sometimes, though. In fact, a structural engineer at my previous university made that argument. He said, this is why they collapsed. You have to understand. But in fact, they were not hollow. We agree on that. Just one more detail on that. If you look at the photo on the right, you see the core columns. Clearly, these columns were substantial and tied together, designed to resist hurricane force winds, for instance, in these buildings, and providing an enormous heat sink as well. If you pile up all the paper and office materials and set it on fire next to those core columns, and get yourself a big bonfire. It's not just going to give up. I think we can sort of detect that intuitively. I have a wood-burning stove. It's made out of steel. It's never melted or collapsed on it. Okay. Moving to World Trade Center 7 in the afternoon of 9/11. This photo was taken from the rubble area of World Trade Center 1. Looking across then, this is Building 7. There were random fires in it. We have the photo. This shows then the south side. We don't see an enormous inferno there. We're still waiting for the report from NIST on this building. Here we see it collapse again. Here I agree with FEMA. We have their report, World Trade Center 7. The specifics of the fires in WTC 7 and how they caused the building to collapse remain unknown at this time. The best hypothesis, involving fire, has only a low probability of occurrence. Well, amen to that. It's a very low probability, as a matter of fact. To bring that puppy straight down symmetrically and at essentially free fall speed. That is, if you look at the corner, I looked at on your right, that's the southwest corner. As it begins its steady fall. It's near free fall speed. Just as you find with controlled demolition, with explosives, I've timed it. If you look at the roof as it begins a steady fall, it's just about free fall speed. Just the same as if you took a brick at the roof and dropped it, free fall speed. The 9/11 Commission report failed to even mention the collapse of Building 7. What can I say?